we go through the same process of getting a mortgage. They check your credit score. They check everything that conventional loan required. So it's just sometimes it's like I wish like a lot of agents will get education on that.
My name is Kevin McIntosh, and this is The Closing Table, where we talk to experts about their experience in real estate all across the country. Let's go. Welcome to The Closing Table Podcast. I am your host, Kevin C. McIntosh. Thank you for joining us. And also joining us, we have a real estate professional eager to teach us all some more information. We want to welcome Ebenezer Asiedu to The Closing Table. How are you, Eb?
I'm doing great, Kevin. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing just fine myself. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to be here, sir.
And thank you for the invite. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we want to talk about real estate more specifically in your market, but let's talk about you as a person first, man. If you don't mind, Eb, tell us a little bit about yourself outside of real estate.
Oh, wow. That's a big question. Outside of real estate, I used to work at Michigan State University. I worked there for about 3-4 years. Then I transitioned into real estate. And prior to that, from New York, I moved from New York to Michigan, 2018. So that was a big adjustment coming from New York to Michigan. And originally I'm from Ghana and been in the country for about 20 years now. And besides that, married with 2 beautiful children, 1 boy, 1 girl. And man, they keep me on my toes. They keep me younger every day.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so
that's the point.
Yes. And besides, outside of real estate, I love doing housework, building stuff, and trying to, always finding something new to learn. I love taking photos. I do drone photos as well. And
okay.
Yes. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Multi-skill. All of those skills definitely come into handy when it comes to the real estate professional. But I love to hear that you're a family man. So I got to give my respect to that, man. Me being a family man myself, I always like to acknowledge that, man. Perfect.
Yes. It's
rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk about your real estate profession, your life as a real estate agent. Before we even do that, give us a quick story as to how you became a real estate agent, and then tell us a little bit about your real estate profession overall.
So my interest in real estate came when I was in New York. I was about to graduate from my master's program, and so I just started looking into houses and stuff because we wanted to buy a house there. And I was learning about being an agent and all of that, and so my wife wasn't really up for that, so I kind of like put it aside. Okay. And when we moved here to Michigan during COVID, and I'm working from home, I have a lot of time in my hands, so I revisit that. And then my wife was like, okay, maybe we can do it. So I started learning and reading about being an agent and investing in real estate. Because at first I wanted to do the investment part, and then I got into the real estate agency part of it. Because the reason was I was like, okay, if I'm going to invest and I'm going to use agent to help me find properties and stuff, why not become agent myself and use myself as a resource to find homes to invest in and all of that. So that's why so during COVID I took the 40-hour class to get my license in Michigan, which is required. And here I am today with Keller Williams license. That it's been amazing since then.
Nice, man. Nice, beautiful story, man. And that's not too I guess you could say it's pretty common. I guess you could say I've heard that story before with people saying, I got my real estate license probably during the pandemic, or people saying I got it because I want to help myself or my friends and family get property. And then you
Yes.
do have those that say, I want to do it to get full time and
Mhm.
hit the ground running with it. But I feel like
Yes.
once you get a little taste of it and you get a taste of success, you end up transitioning into being like to dedicating your time to it full time for the most part. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, you can be a part time agent also. I get it. But like you said, I feel like once you get into it, you learn your strategy and you have a good system in place. You
Yes.
tend to say, hey, let's go all in with it.
Yes. So yeah,
Yeah.
I started as a part-time. Actually, when I started,
Yep.
I was still working at Michigan State. And
Mm-hmm.
so I realized like, okay, this is what I want to do long term, but I'm not able to put the time in to do the things that you need to do to be successful because
Right.
of my full-time job. And so eventually I decided to like go full-time agent and so that I can dedicate the time to being successful
Mm-hmm.
into my business. And that's the thing,
Mm-hmm.
like it's a business, it's not just like a hobby or anything. So and people that I've seen that are really successful in real estate, they treat it as a business, not as a hobby, right? And so that's why
Right.
like and I'm so fortunate that in our office we have a lot of successful agents here that are always willing to teach and help you grow your business, and that is something that I always be appreciative of.
Nice, nice. Love to hear that, man. Love to hear that. Putting in that work, being successful, it works out. It works out, man. Once
Yes.
you take that
Mhm.
leap of faith, more than
Yes.
anything. Cool, man. So let's talk about where you actually working, where you're servicing, man. Let's talk about your market specifically, geographically. I want you to
Oh,
describe your market for me and for the audience who may have never been there.
all right. So right now I'm in Lansing, Greater Lansing area. So all the cities around Lansing, East Lansing, DeWitt, Holt, Okemos, and all the cities around it. That's my main service area. However, I'm licensed for state of Michigan. That
Mm-hmm.
means I can do business outside of my area, but
Right.
sometimes it get difficult. So in that case, if somebody is looking to buy outside of my area and I'm not too familiar with that area, the best thing I do is refer them out because I don't want to represent you if I'm not really familiar with that area, right?
Right.
And so the best thing to do is refer you to somebody who works there, who knows the area. So, but when it comes to like Greater Lansing area, it's pretty um like the housing market here is different. It compare it's like city by city. So what is
Mm.
happening in
True.
Lansing is different than what is happening in East Lansing or DeWitt, right?
Do it. Yep.
And that's the thing. Sometimes when I talk to people, they they worry about what they hear in the news,
Mm.
like what is happening in Texas, what is happening in California. It's totally different from what is happening in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I always tell people, if you're thinking about buying real estate or selling, you should talk to real estate agent from that city, from that
Yeah.
place, because
Mm-hmm.
they know what is happening in that area and they can advise you properly other than what you're hearing on Facebook or what is in the news, because the news is national, it's not local.
Correct.
And what you
Correct.
need is the local information to make best decision for yourself.
No, well said. Well said. And even the quote unquote local news still covers a vast group of cities or area. You know what I'm saying? Even
Yes.
like the
Mm-hmm.
Lansing news covers East Lansing, DeWitt, Okemos,
Yes.
all the Grand Ledge, all the other surrounding cities. So they're going
Mm-hmm.
to give a blanket statement that covers and relates to everybody. So if you want someone
Exactly.
specifically on maybe the east side of Lansing, south side, or someone just Lansing in general, you go to a Lansing real estate agent. I like
Yes.
that you focused on that and mentioned that because, and I like that you mentioned also that although you're licensed in the entire state, you pick one specific like area to focus on. No shade
Yes.
to other agents that do try to expand to the entire state, but Michigan is a huge state, and we do have an Upper Peninsula. So to say that
Oh,
you do the
yes.
entire state, like you would have to be
Uh-huh.
familiar with a lot. So,
Yes.
and I love how I just robotically said describe Lansing for people, for myself who've never been there, and I live in Lansing. I just want to put that.
Yeah.
That was such
I mean,
a moment.
Lansing is great. Lansing is really amazing because there are
Correct.
some.
Yeah.
So recently, I've decided to like go out with my wife and friends, and there are some places that you go. They were like, "Wait, is this here in Lansing?" You know.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like some nice restaurants that are really amazing service there, and like for me, I'm from Ghana. And so in Lansing downtown, they have this nice African restaurant there. They have like a beautiful, amazing African food that
Mm.
like is great. So, and like unless you get out, there are a lot of things to do. And for me, I like outdoors, so I go to like Hot Island, which is
There you
really
go.
amazing place to take a walk, go for a
Mm-hmm.
run, or bring your kids to the water pool that they have in the summer, and
Yeah.
even in the winter. Now they have like
The
sliding on the
sledding.
snow.
Yeah, man.
Yes, so it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I love that too. Man, thank you for putting that out there. Let me say this. I'm from Detroit. I'm from the metro area. So I love big city living, big city action. Much
Mhm.
faster pace and all that. I appreciate it. I skew towards appreciating the slower and smaller towns also. But let me tell you, what you said is big because I'm on that. I agree with that too.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you have to find the things to do. If you sit in the house, anywhere can be boring.
Yep.
But there's things that you can go to, you can find. You'd be surprised too, by the way.
Mhm.
Like
Oh yes.
Lansing has a zoo, a science center,
Yes.
all different types of events at the Lansing Center, different types of parks,
Mhm.
even a shuffleboard. We have a shuffleboard venue
Yes.
now.
That they just
Never,
opened
I
down
mean,
there.
come
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
And And they have this kids museum, Impression 5. It's an
Yeah, yeah.
amazing place that
Mm-hmm.
like my kids love going there. And
Yes, yes.
it's a place that you bring your kids when you want to entertain them and also at the same time be learning, you know, for all the science projects and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. I just talked about that. Exactly. Exactly. Plus,
Yeah.
not even to mention the history. Like you can learn
Hmm.
so much about the history. We are the capital. Lansing is the capital of Michigan. So there's so much you can
Yes.
learn about the history, legislation, all different types of things, politics. So great point, great perspective. Thanks for bringing that.
Yes.
So let's talk about the other side of the market, the economics in regards to data. What numbers or statistics or data do you have in regards to real estate in Lansing?
So in Lansing area right now, average day on the market is 18 days, which is basically like really
Wow.
low. Because like that means like house comes on the market within like the first 2 3 weeks, it'll be gone. And that's
Yeah.
only like in other cities like East Lansing and DeWitt and stuff, those are different. Those like it goes quick. And this is all depends on the price point
Correct.
and also the location. So
Mm-hmm.
some price point stays on the market longer. Some price point goes like quick. Like a day, there was a house that it won on it. The next day it was under contract in East Lansing. So you have to pay attention to what is happening city by city. And the average sales price is like about 200,000 in
Woo.
all the cities combined. And
Woo.
that is just like all the cities combined. So if you look
Right.
at city specific, location specific, it's different.
Yeah.
And so, but it's still like the market is so hot for sellers. And at the same time, it's a good time to buy
Yes.
because the thing about people, they want to time the interest rate. You cannot time the interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot be like, okay, the interest rate is going to come down this day, this time. That's when I'm going to buy, and that's not what it is. That's not right. So that's why I tell people that if you are able to afford to buy, it's a good time to buy. It's a good
Nice.
time to buy, and it's a it's a great time now to sell because now, especially around this time, you're gonna find serious buyers, people who are actually wants to buy, not just window shoppers. Yeah.
Exactly, because like we say a lot during the winter time or during the times of uncomfortable driving, we should say this is when you'll get the people who are serious about buying and or
Yes.
selling. The
Mm-hmm.
game don't play. Like if you're really serious about being a player in this game, you're gonna go out there and play. Other than that, you wait until the spring and summertime when you see a lot more people on the roads. A lot more people
Mm-hmm.
might have more free time. They might drive past a sign that says open house and say, let's just go in there just because it's something to
Yeah.
do. But that doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean they are serious buyers, man. If somebody's
Exactly.
driving in 4 inches of snow to go to an open
Mm-hmm.
house, they're probably serious. So
Yeah.
I always like to say that. Yeah, buying
Yes.
or selling. Don't let the weather discourage you because there's still
Mm-hmm.
opportunity there. Still
Oh, yes.
opportunity there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your approach to real estate in general, you say it's not about just the transact. You say it's about curating experiences. That was a
Yeah.
very different way of looking at things. But I want to talk about it. Has there been a situation where you felt like you were a curator of experiences in a transaction? Give an example of that.
Yes. So, like, have you heard the phrase called people remember, they don't remember what you do for them, but they remember how you make them feel?
Oh,
So that's
yeah.
basically like how I
Good point.
approach every people. And also I want people to get the best service. If they're coming to you with the um biggest purchase in their life, and they're trusting you to do that, it's not about a transaction. So I had a client who um was told by another agent, say, oh, go, if you get it after you get your um pre-approval letter, come talk to me. But you have to remember, especially first time home buyers, they don't know the process.
Correct.
So you have to like walk them through. So what I did was I connect this um client to a lender so that they can get that process going, you know. And after they get that, we started looking, and throughout the transaction, I was making time, accommodating the time. Sometimes we can do showing because they're working, and by the time they get out of work, it will be evening time that I'll be home, but I accommodated that for them, and that's the little things that they really appreciate. And also making sure that, like, when I do showings and stuff, I'm always honest with them. Like anything that I find, I'll let you know. I'm not going to tell you otherwise to buy something that I know it might give you an issue. And if I don't have the answer to that, I direct you to a professional. For example, I will let you have a um, home inspector to tell you what is wrong with the roof or what is wrong with the foundation, because I'm not expert in that area. So
Right.
that's
Right.
how like I take care of my clients, making sure that it's not just about getting the transaction, getting the commission check and stuff, but also making sure that at the end of the day, you are happy with the purchase that you're with the purchase.
Nice, nice. I love that comparison. I had to write that down. Like what you do versus how you make them feel. That
Yes.
it's so profound because it's
Mm-hmm.
it's so true at the same time. And specifically aligning that up with the real estate profession, real estate agent profession. Your clients, for the most part, yes, you can inform them on the process and be very transparent in regards to what's going on. They make the
Mm-hmm.
decisions. Complete. They're in complete control. But it's your
Yes.
job, even if a problem does happen, you can inform them, but you give them their options, give them control, and you solve it. You take that stress away from them completely. And that
Exactly.
literally speaks to what you do versus how you make them feel. They don't necessarily have to
Exactly.
know what you did to solve that problem. They know you
Mm-hmm.
solved the problem. They don't have to worry about it in their feeling of relief, of empowerment.
Yes.
They know when I'm dealing
Exactly.
with Eb, he's gonna make sure everything's taken care of, and it's just gonna flow through. I don't have to worry about nothing.
Mhm. Exactly. And it's like, you don't want to bring all the problems and alarming, whereas you can work with your other agents who on the other side to resolve some of those issues even before you go talk to your client, you know. So that's how like I take care of my clients, and that's what they teach us here, to not just, it's not about the transaction, it's about the
Mm-hmm.
people. And that
Precisely.
connection that you built with your client, it doesn't stop there. It goes a long time. Like right now, I still one another client that I work with, like I went to their home to see how things are going, how the updates are going, and they love it there, you know. And so checking in with people, not just only when
Mm-hmm.
you want them to buy or sell, that you're checking in with them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. They
But
they want to know that you still care. You want to know that you
yes.
still care. Yeah.
Hmm.
Speaking of caring, I was doing some research on your bio, and you have a very intriguing bio, man. But one of the things said you like to find one's heart's address. I was like,
Yes.
how poetic is this? Like do you write poetry? Like, are you a poet? Like, that was very
No.
like thought out. Okay, because I was like, man, you put some thought behind that. But okay, so let's go into it. You got a story that you can share with us where maybe it was some type of heartfelt moment where you helped somebody not just find a home, but find
Hmm.
not find a house, I should say, but find their home where you saw that it
Yes.
made a difference. Come on,
Hmm.
man, let's talk about it.
So it's about like it's asking the right questions,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're working with somebody who is not a first time home buyer and they've already bought a house, living in the house before, and you're helping them. You have to ask the right questions,
Mm-hmm.
and that will give you what they're looking for. And so one of my clients was moving from out of state, from moving from Charlotte to Michigan, and it's of course, he was a veteran, so using VA, and so he described where he was living in North Carolina. What was the condition? What was the area? And I was like, what do you want here? Do you want exactly something like that or
Mm-hmm.
different? And coming to find out they want something different because they were living in a HOA and they didn't like it. And so now they want to be a place where it's a little bit secluded, but also not too far from everything. And
Mm.
so when I found out, we just started looking, and luckily we found one that was perfect, like not too far from everything, but also not too close to everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was the client I was telling you. I went to his house to see all the updates that he's doing, and he was so thrilled to find
Nice.
that house there, and so excited to live there. And so that's stuff that makes me want to wake up in the morning to
Mm-hmm.
go to work. You know?
Yeah, man. I know. You got me smiling like I helped to find the house. I was like, yeah, man, there you go. That's what's up, though, man. Look,
Yeah.
great perspective too, right? The
Hmm.
way or the area that some people could be living currently doesn't necessarily mean they want to live that exact same way going forward,
No,
right? Because
no.
in most
Hmm.
cases, not all, but in most cases, if you are moving, you are looking for some sort of change, whether that's a square footage, whether that's upsizing, downsizing. Maybe it's
Hmm.
the neighborhood. Maybe you want to live closer to something, but it's important to ask those questions not only as a realtor, but also interview from a client's perspective, as a seller or a
Yes.
buyer, I should say, interviewing. So you want to get a good, clear picture of
Hmm.
where you want to be and where you were. Like, do you want that same neighborhood? Do you want that HOA
Yes.
fee still? And they're like, no,
Hmm.
we're tired of HOA fees. Get us up out of here. And then you actually find that place, man. So yeah, man.
And
Thank
the
you, man. I feel
question
like I
is
helped you with
like
that.
asking
Go ahead, I'm
asking
sorry.
asking good questions give you clarity, and they say clarity is power. The
Yeah,
more
yeah.
clarified you are, you have the clarity of something, you have the power to, do everything you want to do. So it's really finding those little things and question, asking good questions, asking questions to kind of like give you the best idea.
Yep, yep. Well said. Well
Yeah.
said. You got this experience. You say you like to do home projects, working, fixing on stuff. A man's man. I like that, man. But you're experiencing woodworking and all that, man. So I would imagine that would
Yes.
come in handy in some type of transactions. Has it been a situation where maybe a client's home kind of inspired your woodworking? And then you went home and worked on something, or has it been a situation where a client needed some type of woodwork or help, and then you stepped in and helped with that?
So in a way, like as an agent, we see a lot of homes. So like for me, when I'm looking at homes, I'm not just looking at it to just look at it. I'm looking for opportunity in the home, right? So let's say we
Mm-hmm.
go into a bathroom and I see that okay, this bathroom current situation, if you change this, if you change the floor or if you change this, it's gonna make a perfect place for you. So that's how like I look at it because like when I bought we bought our house, that's what we did. Like we saw all the opportunities that we can, the things that we can change. And as soon as we got the house, I started working on it, changing everything all by myself. So when sometimes I go look at house with a client, and because of what I do, I can tell them like, okay, maybe you want a bigger open space, but this wall is here. If you knock this wall down, that is going to give you the space that you need, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
if you want, like, if you want a fireplace, they don't have a fireplace, you can build custom fireplace that you can build in your home that you don't have to have it right now, but you can, it's something that you can build it into the home. So that's how like I use my woodworking home projects and to kind of like give them an idea of what you can do or the opportunities. Because sometimes the thing is, you can buy the house right at the price that you want it and just do the updates and the little things later. Meanwhile, if you go find a house that have all the updates and everything, the prices might be out of your price range or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That's a good way of helping some first time home buyers for real, save some money and
Yes.
everything.
Hmm.
Take them in the house. Hey man, got this house over here. Great deal within your budget in the neighborhood that you want. It's gonna need a little love though. And I can tell you some of the
Yes.
areas, I can tell you some of the stuff and adjustments that you can make. I would
Exactly.
love to have an agent like yourself in that type of situation. It just proves the extra value. Because other than that, they'll have to probably go to somebody else. And not to say that you
Hmm.
wouldn't charge for your services, but I imagine if it's a client then you're there to help. So if they go to
Yes.
some
Hmm.
other professional, they'll have to pay for those services. But having you
Yes.
there at that exact same time is saving them time,
Hmm.
money, resources, all of that, man.
Yes.
Well done. Well done. Love to
Yeah.
hear that. You also have a military background. Am I mistaken? Am I?
Yes.
First
Yes.
of all, thank you for your service, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you for your service, man. Always got to acknowledge that. So, with that being
Yes.
said, I know you have certain values that you've picked up from the military. We love talking about that to our vets here on the platform. Talk about some of the values that you incorporated from the
Hmm.
military, how you incorporate them in your real estate transactions, and any instances where you helped a fellow military veteran obtain a home, and just talk about the connection that y'all built throughout that transaction.
Yes. It's a really being in the military not only helped me with my personal life, but also being helping me with my business, how to treat people, and what it means to be in a business of
Mm-hmm.
service, right? Real estate is a business of service. You are
Mm-hmm.
providing your service to people,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're getting paid because of your service that you're providing. And so the military, one of the core values that we have was the selfless service. You know, it's not always about me. It's not always about the money. It's not always about the results, right? It's about the people that you're serving. And sometimes you have to take yourself out of that and put yourself in their shoe and see how they'll feel, how you talk to people, how you treat them, and how you respond to their questions. And not everybody is going to be having all this money there to throw, right? But sometimes some people, you have to help them through the process. For example, a lot of, like, when we were buying a home, we used the VA loan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we made an offer on the house and didn't get accepted because it was VA loan. The other agent wasn't really knowledgeable about the VA loan process. And VA loan is just like a conventional loan insured by the government,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so that's the only thing. It's the only insured by the government. And so we lost that house. Later they came back. They wanted us to accept, make the offer again. It was like no. And so
Wow.
that's what I do. Like, one of my clients, the one who moved from North Carolina, was a VA. And so sometimes the VA, especially one thing they really emphasize on is the safety of the home. How safe
Mm-hmm.
is that house, right? And so because I've used that program before, I know some of the things that in a house they're going to flag it, right? And so when we go into a house, we see it. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be, there's no handrail going to the basement. VA is gonna flag it. The deck is all like paint chip and all of that. VA is gonna flag it. All of
Mm.
that kind of stuff. And and besides that, my client, we bonded because we can talk about the same stuff, our experience being in the military, things that we used to do, the food that we used to eat,
Yeah.
and all the tent sleeping and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And things that we miss about being in the military, at least when I joined, like, there was no room for complaints. You can't complain. You either do it or don't, or leave. You can't complain about anything. You just have to do it. And so I kind of like took that, um like, not to complain, because when I look at what I have and what other people, some people don't have that, right? So you can't complain, and you just have to get after it. And so that is really has helped me shape my business and how I deal with my clients and educate my clients and folks who are buying and wants to use the VA loan.
Yep. Yep. Well said, man. Great example too, man. Shame on these agents that turn down VA loan offers because they don't know about it.
Yeah.
Huh?
Hmm.
Shame on you. Like to put that out
I know
there. For real, but these are the
it's
people that fought for our country. Like, for real. I'm
yes.
serious about that.
And sometimes I get really annoyed about that. That they don't explain. The thing is that they don't explain it to their clients to understand that it's nothing but conventional loan insured by the government, right? And
Correct.
we go through the same process of getting
Mm-hmm.
a mortgage. They check your
Mm-hmm.
credit score. They check everything that conventional loan requires. So it's just sometimes it's like, I wish like a lot of agents will get education on that so that we can help serve those veterans and their family.
Yes, please, please. Education, very important. Speaking of education, I know you have a background in education, so you very, very well versed in a bunch of different things. When it comes to education and real estate, especially dealing with first time home buyers or just people in general, it's very, very important to make sure you're not only educating them, but you're effectively educating them. Like, you actually can see that they're comprehending this. Do you have a specific education strategy or approach that you use to make sure that your clients understand what you're talking about? You have any examples of that?
So, my education background, when I graduated, I work in college campus, working in the residence life. So basically, I work with students who live on campus, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, most of the time, I work with first year students who are coming straight from high school to college. and they almost this as first time home buyers. They don't know anything about the process, right? And so
Real quick.
and so it's like guiding them, right? Guiding them what to do, when to do it. Okay, first time home buyer, we need first thing you need to know, find out how much you can afford to
Mm-hmm.
pay every month for your mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
including other stuff, right? How much can you afford to do that? After that, you talk to a lender that will help you. Okay, based on all your stuff, this is how much you will get approved for. Okay, we get that. Now let's go start looking for a house. And so it's about the process. You have to take them step by step. So when I'm working with especially first time home buyers, I feel like I'm working with my first year students that
Yeah.
their parents just drive them off. And now you have to help them to figure out the process of being in college and of course this time process of buying a home and being a homeowner. So it's kind
Man.
of like it's interesting, and so that can also help me ask questions that I think it helps me to come up with great questions to get to know the person, so that I can better assist them.
Some great parallels that you just made right there between first time home buyers and first year college students, man. I wasn't expecting that, but that's a good analogy. That's a great analogy. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know type stuff. And
Yes.
you need
Hmm.
that guidance counselor in some sorts, if you want to say, to kind of
Yes.
get you on the path to your goal. I mean, you
Hmm.
have goals, you want to reach it, you want somebody that's experienced and know how to get there to kind of guide you through that.
Yes.
So that's a good
Yes.
point. That's a good point. I like that. I like that analogy. Might have to steal that.
Yeah.
Um
It's a it's just about connecting with people,
yeah.
being like able to relate to them. It helps a lot.
No, facts,
Yeah.
facts. I would definitely agree with that. Before we get out of here, I want you to give us some inspiration, man. Is there a movie, book, quote, philosophy, any type of media that you kind of learn and learn from that helped shape your life personally and or professionally that you could share with us?
Yes, there's a book. If I'm allowed to show a book here, I would love
Yeah,
to
come
show
on.
you what that is. So this book is called The One Thing.
I've
Um,
heard of that. That's crazy.
yes,
Nice.
yes, yes. It's a beautiful, great book. Because a lot of time we kind of like juggle things around. We're trying to find this, we go here, and so focusing on finding that one thing, and it's not only like
Hmm.
one thing, particular thing in your life. It's like seven aspects of your life. Each of them, what is the one thing that you can do, such that by doing it, everything else will be unnecessary or easy. And that's what, like, at least for me, every day I wake up, I focus on that. What is one
Man.
thing that I can do for my family such that everything else will be unnecessary or easy for me? What one thing I can do in my business that is going to help me make everything easier or unnecessary, right? And so that's what I read it. I've read this book multiple times. I listened to it multiple times. And sometimes when things get hard, I go back to it.
There you go.
Yeah,
There
I
you
go
go.
back to it to reread it to make sure that I'm not deviating from my
Yep.
path. Yeah.
Yep. Man, man, I had an agent on the platform share that same book, the one thing, and I loved it then. I love it now, man. I love how everyone takes different things from it, but the message is still the same. Ultimately, learn to focus on the things that matter the most. Were you gonna say something?
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So if you listen to the audio of that, there's a song by Pam Rose, My
Mm.
Life. So if you listen to that song and listen to the book, it's amazing. Like, and the song is basically like it's saying like at the end of the day, when I'm sitting there and looking at my life, I want to know that I've done everything I could have done. I didn't leave
Mm.
anything on the table.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's amazing song, and
Yeah.
that's some of the stuff that kind of like moves me sometimes to you know do
Yeah.
things.
I love that. I love that, man. Prioritizing time management. And that's what it seems like it's
Yes.
centers on. Man, before I think me and my guest wanted you to sing that song before you left. I was anticipating you hitting that note, telling us how I want to hear how it go. He said, "No, I can't do that,
I
Kev."
cannot sing. I
I was gonna put the pressure on you, Eb.
I
It's all
cannot
good.
sing. I
It's
I
all good.
I just pick up the key part of the song.
No, right? I'm not gonna do that to you, Ed, man. That's when you said song though, I was waiting. I was like,
No.
no, never
If
mind.
you want your audience to come back, don't let me sing.
Well said, man. Thank you so much, Ed, man. Perfect place to land the plane. Thank you so much for pulling up a chair to the closing table. At this point, if you have any last words or want to tell people how to reach out to you, the floor is yours.
I mean, last thing I want to say is don't be scared. If you're planning on buying a home, don't be scared. If you're planning on selling, don't be scared. Get to find an agent who's experienced and connect with them so that they can help you answer every question that you want them to answer. And if you want to get to me, how to contact me, my phone number is 517-388-9599. And my email is info@asieduassociate.com.
Absolutely, man. Thank you again, Ed, man. We appreciate you for being here. For our YouTube audience watching, if you gotten to this point in the video, do us both the favor and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the content, hit all the buttons. Just please do that.
Yes.
If you are listening on Apple, Spotify, or any of the podcast platforms, please do the same. Give us a like, a 5-star rating, and subscribe for our latest content. Ed, I'm going to leave our audience with something to think about on the way out. So think about this and answer this for me, audience. Whenever you purchased your first home, what did you do to get more acquainted with not only your neighborhood, but your neighbors? Did you go door to door? What did you do? Don't tell us now. Leave it in the comments below. Besides that,